Welcome, everybody, to our Thursday, November 2nd City Commission regular meeting. We'll call the meeting to order. Please join me in rising for our invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Let us begin this meeting by taking a brief moment of silence for Nate Campbell's family and the family he had here at the city, in particular the Parks and Recreation Department employees, and reflection on the upcoming Veterans Days and those veterans who have served our country. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Jennifer. Jennifer Bramley, did you have any comments you wanted to make?
I do, yes. Thank you, Mayor. And I want to speak specifically to our Parks Division. This evening, we lost an employee last week, Nate Kendall, and I know it's been very difficult for all of you. It's shocking to lose a fellow employee. It's even more shocking when they're young, like that. We had a wonderful event last Saturday, and Nate was there, and he was helping. He's happy, he was healthy, and I think that, you know, I've been thinking about it a lot. I think that for that to be his last event was very appropriate. It really was. He was an excellent employee, much beloved by his co-workers, by his supervisors, and he is very much of a loss for the city and for our employees. So I thank you for the moment of silence. I thank all of you for being here today. It means a lot to Nate, I'm sure, to participate in that moment of silence with the City Commission. We actually did at noon today have another moment of silence for Nate as well with all the employees. So I'm just glad you guys are here. And we're going to miss Nate. We are a family, and when we lose a member of our family, it hurts. So our thoughts are with you, and most certainly with Nate's family. Thanks, guys.
Vince?
Thank you, Mayor, City Commissioners. First, I just want to say thank you for the support on this, and Jennifer did a great job speaking about Nate also on Tuesday and asked for this moment of silence. And I just mentioned it to a few of our parks, and the next thing I know, we got about 15 people here to support. We don't have the information yet on a service, but there will be something. It might not be right away, but it might be in the near future. So, but again, thank you. Nate was a great employee, and when he didn't show up for work Monday on time and no call in, we knew something was up. And Pete was able to send one of our employees to his home, and it just was an unfortunate situation for us. So, but thank you for this opportunity, and I'm so thankful for our staff. And it's not just our parks staff, it's also our recreation staff that worked very closely with him and our parks division. So thank you.
Thank you, Vince, and thank you guys for being here today. We are all very sad for the loss to our entire community, but especially the loss that I know that you all feel when you work with somebody every day and what they contribute to your work family, because we all have one. It's just very sad, and we're very sorry for your loss and his family's loss, and thank you guys for coming out today. We appreciate it. I would like to give Nate a standing ovation, please. You guys don't have to stick around if you don't want to. I'm giving you the ability to leave if you don't want to stick around. You are more than welcome to stay. We'd love to have you. And that's fine too. I'm just saying you don't have to. I just didn't want you to feel like you were interrupting anything. Okay, we'll move on to presentations, which is our Veterans Day proclamation. I will pass that on to Vice Mayor Twanga.
Thank you, Mayor. We have our Commander Bill Coppola and Mel Klingon from American Legion Post 275, if you would also come forward. And also our Junior Vice Commander Dennis Beauvais and Rob Cozen from our VFW Post 2550. Allow us to address you with the Veterans Day Proclamation of 2023. Whereas President Woodrow Wilson proclaimed November 11, 1919 as the first commemoration of Armistice Day, and whereas years later our nation continues to honor our fallen heroes and commemorate their selfless sacrifices, and to honor our veterans who have courageously defended our country and who now volunteer as mentors, teachers, and counselors. And whereas, while tens of millions of Americans have served in the United States Armed Forces during the past century, we are reminded that the defense of freedom comes with great loss and sacrifice. And whereas veterans' courage, dedication to duty, and love of country have made it possible for Americans to live in freedom, and whereas on this Veterans Day, we remember with the highest regard the bravery of a generation of Americans who fought with honor, and we salute the men and women who put their lives in danger to answer the call of duty. And whereas we give thanks to those who have served freedom's cause and salute the members of the armed forces, we also honor the men and women defending our nation today. Now therefore I, John Torringa, by the virtue of authority invested in the mayor of the city of Dunedin, Florida, and on behalf of the entire City Commission, do hereby proclaim November 11 as Veterans Day in Dunedin and encourage everyone to join us at Edgewater Park for a Veterans Day celebration and ceremony at 11 a.m. on Saturday, November 11, again, to honor and recognize the tradition of freedom they fought to preserve. If you would step forward.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and all of you commissioners. This is a great honor to invite the American Legion down here, all our veterans, to celebrate veterans, all veterans of all wars, all conflicts. We do appreciate it, and we thank you for everything you're doing for us right now. Dunedin is one of the greatest veteran-friendly cities that I know of, so thank you.
Welcome. Please, Rob.
If I might, first of all, a belated thank you for all of the support and help that the city gave us for the dedication for the Zach Shannon Memorial Highway. It was a great success. It was a moving and emotional ceremony, but it wouldn't happen without the support of the commission and Madam Mayor and certainly Parks and Recreation. So thank you for that. Also, thank you for recognizing the importance of Veterans Day. Because, you know, based on the success of last year's event, it was decided that it would become a city event. And I think that is something worth noting, that, you know, again, Dunedin shows just how important that we as a community embrace our veterans. So we are honored, you know, to again have our Veterans Day ceremony. You know, we're looking forward to all of you being there, and thank you for everything that you do every day to support the veterans of our town. Thank you.
Thank you, Rob.
I once took a solemn oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. To this day, none of these gentlemen nor myself have been relieved of that oath. We continue to support through our efforts and in collaboration with the city which I think has been a long time coming to see a joint effort being made between the American Legion as well as the VFW. We thank you all from the bottom of our heart over at 2550 for the support you gave us in the Zach Shannon ceremony, and we look forward to continuing this in any events coming up. Hopefully they're not as somber as the last two events that have been mentioned here today. But thank you all very much.
What they said. Thank you.
So, guys, real quick, before we do the pictures, I would just like, because we have several veterans, including our city clerk, on this dais. I know we have some veterans in the audience. So anybody that is a veteran, would you please stand? Veterans? I would have stood out of respect, but I'm not a veteran, and I wanted to give the spotlight. You know, we forget that we have veterans on our staff. So thank you guys very much. Let's do a picture. Okay.
And yes, I need to make sure I can see everybody. Commissioner Walker, a little bit that way, that's perfect. Okay, all right, ready? I'm gonna take a few. Place well. Make sure I can see. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. We will see you guys on the 11th. If not before. Gosh. Whew. I just need a minute. Okay. We will turn now to citizen input, and this is a time for anyone to come forward and speak to any item that's not already on the agenda. Come on down, Dave.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay.
Good to see everyone.
Good to see you too,
David Jr. I live on 802 Georgia Avenue in Palm Harbor. The indigenous Indians of this land were beaten, starved, scalped, and thrown onto reservations. The Trail of Tears was an act of apartheid. George Washington, Hamilton, Madison, Jefferson, guys like General Mad Anthony Wayne, who massacred the indigenous Indians, were all atrocious human beings. They also made the African people their slaves. Many of the so-called founding fathers of this nation, sadly, were Jewish. The Hawaiian Islands were overrun by the same occupation, who have now assumed control over the Hawaiian government today. The fire that incinerated the entire village of Lahaina has been overtaken by a governor that has disallowed the Hawaiians the rights to return home and to govern their own sacred lands. Many Hawaiians lost their children that are still unaccounted for today. The governor of Hawaii is Jewish. For decades, the people of Cuba have been displaced from their island nation as well. The indigenous people of Guatemala, Nicaragua, Honduras, and El Salvador have been fleeing from their rightful lands as they have been too overrun by a government that has evicted them from their home. The United States ambassador to Guatemala from 1964 through the early 1990s was a Jewish man by the name of Gert Rosenthal. Who invaded Ukraine? Vladimir Putin or Volodymyr Zelensky? Volodymyr Zelensky is Jewish. Ukraine is the breadbasket of Europe. Why is the Israeli government running Ukraine? Did Israel invade Ukraine to take control of the food source of Europe? Can someone explain the long train of destruction and death as recognized in the Declaration of Independence, and who is conducting that train, and who is that train of death intended to kill, as based on the so-called due process of the 14th Amendment. Thomas Jefferson, in his Religious Freedom Act, argues against those who have falsely assumed dominion over others. Is Thomas Jefferson a hypocrite? Has Thomas Jefferson falsely assumed his dominion over us? Is Israel hypocritically, in hypocrisy, constitutionally in this land? As I feel as though Hamilton has 3 constitutions in place. I will stop there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. I'm not exactly sure, Dave, where all of that was going, and don't respond, but it did seem like you were picking on one group over another, and that's not something that we support in the halls of Dunedin, so let's not do that anymore. But thank you for your comments. Action items. I'm sorry, was there anybody else that wanted to come forward for citizen input? Okay. Action items. We have annexation, land use, and zoning, second readings of 2010 Greenbrier Boulevard. Rebecca, do you want to swear people in before we get started?
Is there anybody else in the audience? Do you swear the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through the entire presentation for all 3, and then we'll hold each individual public hearing.
Mayor, just before you get going on that and I read the title, do you want to ask?
Oh, sorry, I
Ex
forgot
parte.
about that. Okay, yep, I was going to go to that. So ordinance 23-09, we'll start with that, voluntary annexation into the city of Dunedin.
Oh, no. Before that, do you want to ask if there's any ex parte communication?
Oh, my apologies. Yep, see, it's just been an emotional day, and I wasn't thinking clearly. Has there, to my colleagues, has there been any ex parte conversation on this particular project of 2010 Greenbrier Boulevard? No? Jennifer, there is no, and I'll hold off on reading the ordinance then, since we're going to do the entire presentation, then we'll read them as we go for the public hearings.
Okay, you normally have me do one, and then he does
Okay,
the presentation.
go ahead.
But however you would like.
Go right ahead, then. 2309, voluntary annexation.
Okay. Ordinance 2309, an ordinance of the City of Dunedin, Florida, annexing certain real property located at 2010 Greenbrier Boulevard, parcel number 36-28-15-000-240-0200 with designated meets and bounds totaling approximately 11.52 acres into the corporate limits of the city, providing for filing with the clerk of the court and providing for an effective date. That was ordinance 23-09, read by title only.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Vice Mayor Twanga and Commissioner Walker, thank you. Joey?
Good evening, Joseph DePasqua on behalf of Community Development. And as the mayor mentioned, I'd like to do just a brief presentation going over all 3 ordinances. First and foremost, I'll let you know that since first reading, we've had no new information with regard to this ordinance. We did our normal transmittal, which I'll talk about to Forward Pinellas, but there's been no significant changes. So I will briefly go through the presentation. Application information, this property is owned by BSH Preserve LLC. They're the applicant and the owner. They're represented by Matthew Poling of Trenham Law. Mr. Poling is here this evening. And again, the application is for voluntary annexation into the city, followed by placing land use plan designation and zoning district designations on the property. As mentioned in the ordinance reading, this property is about 11.52 acres. By way of very brief background, this property this sits at the corner of Virginia and Greenbrier. Essentially, this annexation came as a result of the city's initiation in enforcing an agreement that was in place back in 1985, where the city did provide sanitary sewer to the property with the condition that at some point when it was contiguous, it would become part of the city. And so that's what we're doing today. It is a voluntary application, but again, sort of initiated by the city, if you will. You can see the property as it sits at the corner of those two streets, and it does have two uses on the property, an assisted living facility and an educational facility. Here's a street view of the ALF. It's called the Preserve at Clearwater. It's a 3-story structure, a little over 93,000 square feet, and it is currently licensed for 93 beds. The school on the property is called Service Learning Micro School. It's a school that does grades K through 12. It's a smaller building. It's a 1-story structure, about 4,600 square feet. And I think it came up at first reading. I believe there's roughly about 50 students that attend the school, according to the website. Moving to the land use plan, what we are going to do, and we discussed this at first reading, is we're recommending placing the same land use plan categories that are currently on it in unincorporated Pinellas County in the same configuration. So the difference being is the institutional is no longer available, so that at the county, that institutional, the light blue will be replaced with public, semi-public. The small area that is residential low will remain residential low on our land use map, and then the balance of the properties, the green is the preservation. So again, not really any kind of change going from the county's versions to our versions, if you will. And then moving to our zoning layer of planning on top of this property, we're suggesting and recommending that we place the neighborhood business over the area that would be public, semi-public, and then R90, which is residential single family, over top of the residential low portion, and then our conservation, which is consistent with the preservation land use. Again, following that same configuration. So our past actions, to recap, the LPA did view this application, did review it, and did unanimously recommend approval of all 3 ordinances. On September 7th, the City Commission unanimously recommended approval of all 3 ordinances at first reading. As I mentioned, we did transmit it to Pinellas County, Forward Pinellas, as the countywide planning authority. As a Tier 1 amendment, we did receive approval on October 2nd. That was in your backup, that our amendment was acceptable, and so we are here today. And again, to recap, the staff recommendation is to approve the application and the 3 ordinances as follows: 2309 for the annexation of the property into the city, 2310 to designate the property as public, semi-public, residential low, and preservation as shown on the maps, the map exhibits. And then finally, 2311 to designate the property as neighborhood business, single-family residential, R90, and conservation, all following annexation. And with that, I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have.
Questions for Joy?
I have nothing further.
The public, semi-public, is that for the school portion?
It's actually both buildings, both facilities will be within the public, semi-public.
Okay.
They're both permitted, they would be both permitted uses.
Yeah, and I guess my question is because it's a school, will they be paying property tax or no?
As far as I know, that the property pays taxes now, yes.
Is that because it's a private school?
I don't know.
Because usually when it's a school, they don't pay tax. I'm not saying I care one way or another. That's not my purpose of asking, and I didn't ask it in the first reading because I didn't even think about it.
Perhaps Mr. Poling would be able to answer it, but I believe the property is taxable as it sits today.
But the more important question I have, and I'm smiling, will the preserve of Clearwater now become the preserve of Dunedin? That's what I want to know. Just saying. We'd love you to consider that. I'm kidding. Not really, but I don't know. When it said the preserve of Clearwater, I was like, well, wait a minute now. You're in Dunedin now. Anyway, okay. This is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to come forward and speak to the annexation of this property into the city of Dunedin, please feel free to do so. Seeing or hearing none, I'll come back to the commission. We can do our welcome at the end. Any other final comments? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Commissioner Franny? Commissioner Gao?
Aye.
Commissioner Walker?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Torga? Mayor Buszowski?
Aye, that motion passes unanimously. Then we'll go to ordinance 23-10, which is the land use designation. Jennifer, would you please read ordinance 23-10 by title only?
Ordinance 23-10, an ordinance of the City of Dunedin, Florida, amending the City of Dunedin Land Use Plan as adopted by Ordinance 20-01 on certain real property following annexation located at 2010 Greenbrier Boulevard, parcel number 36-28-15-00. 000-240-0200 with designated meets and bounds and totaling approximately 11.52 acres to assign the public, semi-public, P/SP, residential low, RL, and preservation, P, land use designations and providing for an effective date. That was ordinance 23-10, read by title only.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Commissioner Walker,
Second.
Commissioner Gao. Thank you. We've had our presentation. This is a public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak to the land use of this property, please feel free to come forward and do so. Seeing or hearing none, any final comments? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Vice Mayor Torga? Commissioner Franny?
Aye.
Commissioner Gao?
Aye.
Commissioner Walker?
Aye.
Mayor Buszowski?
Aye, and that motion passes unanimously. And then finally, we have the ordinance 23-11, which is the zoning designation. So Jennifer, would you please read ordinance 23-11 by title only?
Ordinance 2311, an ordinance of the City of Dunedin, Florida, zoning certain real property following annexation located at 2010 Greenbrier Boulevard, parcel number 36-28-15-00. 000-240-0200 with designated meets and bounds and totaling approximately 11.52 acres to neighborhood business NB, single-family residential R90, and conservation C, and providing for an effective date. That was ordinance 23-11, read by title only.
Thank you. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Vice Mayor and Commissioner Franny. We've had our presentation. Is there any public input on the rezoning of this property? Seeing or hearing none, come back to the commission. Any other comments on the rezoning? Okay, roll call vote, please, Rebecca.
Commissioner Walker?
Aye.
Commissioner Gao?
Aye.
Commissioner Franny?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Torga?
Aye.
Mayor Buszowski?
Aye, and that motion passes unanimously. Welcome to Dunedin. We'll come over and help you do a ribbon cutting if you want to change that name. Okay. Chamber of Commerce will come help too, just saying. Okay. We have the proposed agenda for November 16th. Is that when you want to talk? Or you want to do yours before that, I got to assume?
Well, I wanted to at least have that discussion.
Okay, so
So that this
then
would be
let's
the
have the
appropriate-
discussion before we approve this agenda.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so if you guys will check your email, Commissioner Gao has sent us a resolution from PSDA. I think you all know that Representative Cheney is making some proposals to what guides PSTA, and it's proposals that I think none of us agree with. So I think Commissioner Gao wants us to try to approve something, so why don't you go ahead and make your case?
Make my case. Yeah, it's just.
I think I just did for you,
Yes, you
but
did.
that's
So
okay.
what the mayor said. No. And so, yeah, I guess the question that I wanted to ask you all is whether it could either go on the upcoming work session as a start item, or we could just add it to this agenda and it just becomes part of the next commission meeting. And which one would be my preference? I like to get things done, the sooner the better.
When do you need it?
I have no idea. There's not a deadline. The delegation's next meeting is November 30th, I
Okay.
believe. And that will be the meeting where the delegation has to vote on that bill.
And
It's
is
a
the,
local bill.
right, and is the resolution the same resolution that everybody else is doing?
I believe so, because this came from the PSTA attorney.
Because I'm just
Alan did
wondering,
it for us.
I'm wondering if it wouldn't and I'm just asking out loud, if you
Yeah.
want to do this, what they've handed, I'm okay with that. But I'm wondering if it isn't more beneficial to put it in our own words in a letter or something, in our own, to do something that might be a little bit different, because what I've heard from everybody that lobbies the state people is they get these form letters, right? That they get 20 that say the same thing, or form resolutions that 20 say the same thing. I don't know.
I don't know, and I don't know either. I don't know. So if it is the pleasure of the board to do that, we can do that.
Well, I mean, I would leave it up
Right.
to you, because you know that you, and especially Jennifer Cowan down there, because her office and everything represents PSTA and is very in-depth, has an in-depth knowledge of, part of me wants to just say, if you're so worried about the revenue, like those wraps that she wants to get rid of, okay, get rid of the wraps and raise the cap on the millage so you don't have to go for things like that. You know what I'm saying? There's things to say
Right.
that I think we should be bold enough to say.
No, and that's fine. It's just whether all the things that we want to say, will that fit in a letter? Or are those talking points that when we go see her, we talk? And the meeting is on the 30th. I am also inviting the commission there. I believe all the board members. I hope that all the board members on PSDA are inviting their individual commissions and councils there. We would like to have a very full house.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure I'm going to.
And that is also the same day as the Florida League of Cities policy meeting as well.
When's our next meeting?
I'm not even sure.
Our
I'm
next-
just getting back from
Our next
camping
meeting?
that day, so I don't even think I can be there.
5th
But
or the 7th.
Right, of November.
no, we're already on the second.
Yeah, I'm sorry, it's 14th and 16th.
Okay, that was, yeah, okay.
I was in
So I was
December.
just-
So why don't
I'd
you-
like to have a copy of the bill, too.
Yeah.
The actual bill, even though this explains why we wouldn't
Right,
like
yeah,
it.
everybody should have a copy of the bill as
Okay.
well as the resolution.
Is it in
And
this
the-
email?
And the entire PSD board will not be able to meet before the next delegation meeting,
Gotcha.
because it's the third
Yeah,
Wednesday of the
it's
month and it's
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
I'm surprised they're not having a special meeting.
I asked for that, but
I'd be demanding it. Stand on the desk. You go for it, Jeff. Okay, so what we want to make sure is we get to read whatever you propose. I mean, I'm just talking to you about it. I mean, if somebody wants to say you don't need that revenue, and we know why she's saying, we know why she wants to take those bus wraps away. It has nothing to do with anything but politics.
I think she's more focused on the governance of
She is.
PSTA.
She
And
is.
everything else is just
Fodder.
room for her to negotiate and look good. Okay, I'll take that out, when her main focus is the governance.
So I think if you can provide the bill and whatever resolution that you and I'll say Jennifer Cowan think is best for the situation. You
Okay.
two are more plugged in than the rest of us as to what she might listen to and what's really important to focus on. But yeah, send us those things and we can add it to whatever the earliest agenda is. Do you want it to be a letter or a resolution?
I've thought about that for about 30 seconds, so I don't
There's a
know.
resolution we have to vote on.
Right.
We've given plenty of direction to you all to write letters without it having to be here, So I'm just asking from a time perspective, it seems like we do have time to make it a resolution, if that's what you want.
Oh, I think we have time. I just want to hit hard and hit fast. I don't want to play the long game. I'd rather stop the bill on the 30th if we can.
Yeah,
And, that's kind of my attitude.
which we would want to send to all the legislative delegation,
Right, absolutely, right.
which does say to me that we do want to hit it point by point, though, whatever she's trying to do. Obviously, the big one, but I think we need to hit it point
So
by
is
point.
a letter then more appropriate?
I don't
That's
know.
fine. I don't know.
I'm
So-
fine with the resolution, I'm just saying in the resolution should hit point by point of what we don't like.
Okay.
I don't think we should ignore one point.
So to educate me on Yes, ma'am. You got it? Oh, it looks like, yeah. And then just educate me on process. What do we need to do to leave room at the next meeting that if we want to keep it a resolution, it can be on the agenda?
I think we just vote right
Can we
now
just
to
put it on the
to
agenda
say
now,
we
and
will
then if
add
we-
it to the agenda because of a timing perspective. And if we don't like what we read, we can add it to the Tuesday agenda. I know we've already voted on it, but we can,
It'll be a start item on
it'll be a
Tuesday.
start
Start
item.
item.
Right.
And if there's something there that we don't like, we can then let it go to Thursday for a correction.
Sure. That'll work.
You okay with that?
Oh, very, very good, yes.
Do it however you all think. I'm just saying, we need a hard hit on this.
I just wanted something to come from us, and it was coming from Alan, so I thought, okay, let's just do this. But your point is well taken. If we can hit it point by point, that's,
And you can do that in a resolution too. I mean, I'll leave it between,
The whereas clauses.
yeah, Jennifer Bramley, Jennifer Cowan, Jeff. Obviously, we don't want this thing to happen.
right.
We don't need, if the governor starts making appointments, we could lose a seat. Because even though we're the 5th largest city in the county,
We will definitely.
we're only the 5th largest
We
city.
will absolutely, no doubt, lose a seat.
Yeah,
And that is
They want to,
really bad for us.
they want to reduce the board from 15 to 9. They want all but one of those seats left, 8 of those seats, to be chosen by a county level commissioner or their delegate, and then one from the governor's office.
And I'm sorry, but the county, this is a decision-making board. PSTA is a decision-making board, just like Forward Pinellas. And if you remember, and I'm going to be very kind in the way I say this for our own benefit, but, you know, there was a project on Drew Street that the county was very upset about, but they had no approval right over it. Forward Pinellas is a decision-making board, and so is PSTA, and there is no reason why the county needs to be involved in making it. They already have an appointee. That used to be Brian Scott. That's how Brian Scott got on PSTA to begin with, was a county. They have an appointee, plus they have 3 or 4 county commissioners, right?
Yeah.
So they have their appointees.
And because it's new to me, and so just for anybody else on the dais that may not understand, a local bill, what that means is that it has to be voted on by the delegation on the 30th.
Before it goes forward.
Before it goes forward, and then it only has to go forward on the representative side. And if it passes on the House of Representatives, goes through those committees and passes at the House, then it goes on a consent agenda on the Senate side. And so it's guaranteed to pass if it's on consent. And so it's got to be stopped at the House.
Well, and that almost makes me think that, yeah, we do the resolution, but a letter needs to go on with it. A personalized letter, you know, that needs to get attached to it, that it's something different than what they normally get. It needs to go to each person on that legislative delegation. It talks about the lack of transportation options that we have, and that this bill is only going to make it worse. And I'm sorry, I think we do need to say at some point, you all can hash this out. I won't fight over it later. But I mean, I do think we need to say something to the effect of, if you really want to help this organization and help our county expand the ability to have more transit options, and the only way to do that is to raise the cap on their millage. Stop messing around. I mean, St. Pete and Clearwater have a lot more transit options than we do from Dunedin north.
So Mayor, we will, on the 14th agenda, you have the lobbyist contract as well, so we will have a lobbyist in place by the time you adopt this resolution.
Okay. Well, and that's good, and maybe we can get that person involved in going to this and talking to them. But, all right, so we'll add as a start item to the Tuesday 14th agenda, whatever you guys come up with, okay? I don't want to nitpick it. You guys talk about what you think is best, but give the bill to all of us. Yes, ma'am.
So, Jeff, I have the bill.
I mean, so the 9 members would be what? One, because I'm looking at here, 1 member for Pinellas County
And they
Commissioners,
didn't commit it to memory, so.
1 member St. Petersburg, 1 member by the governor. But there's 9 members, right? So
Right.
It's one member by each person of the Pinellas County Commission.
In each county.
Oh.
They
And I
each
forgot
get
about
an
this.
appointee.
Come on.
And I forgot about the
Yeah,
St.
and
Pete.
I'm sorry.
Well, and then my only other comment, I mean, because I agree that that's just not right. And, but, you know, there's a lot of other ads in this thing, too.
Right.
Right.
And that's where, you know how that ends up. Oh, okay, we get you. We'll leave you, you know, with representation, but maybe there's some other parts of this that we think are egregious as well, and we don't want them to.
Oh, there's a
Go
whole
along with
lot in
everything.
there.
There's a
Right.
whole.
I'd rather
one of
kill the whole
Yeah.
thing.
One of the, yeah, and killing the whole thing is right, because one of the things that's in there is about getting rid of the ability, and I'm just going to say what it is, and even though it doesn't say what it is, they don't want the PSTA to wrap their buses. I'm trying to be the bad guy so you don't have to be. Do you see what I'm doing here? You have to play nice. I don't. They don't want PSTA to have the ability to wrap their buses in what they're calling political speech. They don't wrap their buses in political speech. They sell that for money. That's how they make extra revenue. What they're targeting is the annual Pride Month in June. That's what they're targeting. And so what they've said is, oh yeah, the only thing you can wrap your buses in is something to do with veterans. That's it. Now that's freedom of speech, and there's so many things that go down that road. Why does a state representative need to get involved in what our buses wrap themselves with? Again, raise the millage and they don't have to wrap it in anything. That's my answer. But you can see I get
You know.
mad about this stuff.
And
But
I don't know that the Pride wrap is paid for, but I know it is also probably the Juneteenth wrapping, the
yeah,
MLK wrapping.
all of that.
And it's all DEI.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different things in here. That's why I'm kind of saying, I don't think we just focus on, I think we have to go point by point, or at least the points that we think make the biggest difference.
Yeah.
But you know more than we do.
Yeah, and this isn't the place where we try and make a bad bill better.
No.
This is just, it's a bad bill, it needs to go.
Right, and we have to say why each point in there is bad.
Right.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Get rid of the whole darn thing and leave PSTA alone. If you really want to do something for PSTA, make the 5 cities that don't contribute to PSTA in the county, make them contribute, and raise the cap. Forward Pinellas uses, they have a lot of money left in their cap, and all they do is planning. They don't actually function as a transportation provider. The transportation provider has a 0.75 mil. 0.75. Even if they did double that,
I don't
they
consider-
couldn't provide our
I don't
county with the
consider mine-
transit it needs.
Yeah, I don't consider mine a tax, it's an investment in public transit.
Right, but 5 cities don't pay for it.
Right.
And by the way, I think Cheney's in one of them.
Mhm.
Just saying. See, I can say all of that. You can't. Anyway, you all, okay, so what I need, I guess, is a motion and a second to add this item to
No, we're going to.
We'll just put a start item on the 14th.
start item.
Yeah. And then if there's anything wrong with it, then we'll roll it with your permission onto this agenda. But it will be start item on the 14th.
Well, if I do a motion and a second now, you won't have to make it a start item, will you?
That's fine. Yeah.
Trying to be consistent.
I haven't seen, I'd like to look into this.
Right, that's why I'm saying they've
Yeah.
got to provide us with
Yeah,
information. That's why I'm saying,
yeah. Did you, I read yours. Was
Well,
there another one?
I sent you the bill a few days ago. The resolution I just sent you an hour ago.
That you just got it.
I just got it from Alan, yeah.
Yeah, the bill you sent on October 31st, so
yeah.
Right.
literally 2 days ago.
Yeah, so we don't know what that resolution is even going to look like. It may look completely different than the one you just sent.
Right.
So what you're saying is, hey, let's put something together, a package, and get it on the agenda.
Right. Yeah, I just wanted to make room on an agenda for something.
Okay. So Rebecca, if I make a motion and a second and do the vote, then do we have to do the start item thing?
Normally, we would just do the start item because you've already approved that proposed agenda. But
Okay,
that would be my preference, just to keep it
consistent?
consistent.
Okay, fine. All right, so is there consensus
Thank you.
direction then from everybody to go ahead and add this as a start item
Yes,
for future discussion?
yes,
Yes?
yes.
Okay,
Perfect, thank you.
you good?
Yep, I'm good.
All right.
Thank you.
So that would be on the 14th. So now the proposed agenda for the 16th.
Mayor, but
Yes, ma'am?
informational item, the community brand refresh, we're going to ask that be rescheduled to the middle part of June.
June?
Got-
June,
or
January.
January.
I'm like,
I'm really
June.
sleepy today. I need another cup of coffee.
Yeah.
or something. Middle part of January, we had a presentation from Chandler Thinks, and it was really, the information's exceptional, but we need to get more information before we present to all of you. And so, and I will brief all of you one-on-one. I have the slide deck, the PowerPoint deck, so I'll brief all of you one-on-one, but it'll be better going in January, not June.
Okay. So we have, and I just want to remind everybody, that's also the meeting we have, the city clerk's annual performance eval. What's the deadline that we have to give that to Teresa for the agenda? Do you know?
Technically today.
I thought it was the 9th.
What?
Yeah, because the agenda go out
Technically
next Friday.
today?
Yeah.
Did you just say?
I thought it was the 9th.
Well, that's
This
when
is
it,
for the 16th.
right. Well, that's when it goes out. I mean, staff, their items need to be in now, so.
No, it doesn't go out the 16th. The meeting is the 16th, so.
Goes out the
So it goes out the
Friday.
10th.
Right.
So isn't the 8th then the deadline?
Technically, it's
One.
3 o'clock on
Wednesday.
the 3rd.
Yes, thank you. So tomorrow.
So I do,
Okay, well,
I do a deadline sheet to all the
Sorry.
department heads, and that would be the,
Yeah, I didn't think that's what it said.
I didn't think
could be
that was
wrong.
what it was.
I think we got schooled, I think.
but as long as it's done,
Well,
By the
at Veterans Day observed, you're closed on the 10th. That's what we have to remember.
oh, so I
The
think the
Friday.
deadline actually is not the 9th at,
So that's why Jennifer's saying it's today. So the 9th is when you would post up the agenda. So, yeah.
But we'll take it whenever.
Yeah, but then she
I'm
has,
looking
she
for
has
it.
to do the,
Who sent it out
she has to
originally?
do the combined.
It does.
Who sent
Teresa
it out?
does, right.
Who sent it
Teresa.
out?
Teresa Smalling.
Teresa.
Can't find it.
Can we say the deadline's the 8th? on
Did you have
Wednesday?
if I may, did you have a problem receiving something, Commissioner?
Well, I was just looking, and I can't seem to find because
I got it. It's
yeah, I
just-
got it. I totally
got it.
got it, so. There it
I
is.
was wondering about it today myself. I don't,
I got it.
I
Okay.
remember a notice about it. I don't remember.
What it says is, I've attached a notification memo, blah, blah, blah. Please return the completed reviews to me by Thursday, November 9th, 2023.
That's what, see?
Just saying, that is,
Okay, then that's when it is.
From
That's what
Teresa
Teresa said.
Smalling.
She's going to have to turn around pretty fast
so,
because the agenda's due
Well,
out
especially
that-
if it's the end of the day.
'Cause
and
that's
the
the
next
same-
day off.
Yeah,
I think we
That's gonna
need,
be a
I think we
struggle.
need
It
to make
needs-
it, can we just say the 8th?
at noon?
Well, don't push your luck over there, okay?
We'll do
Getting-
our
We're
best.
already saying a day earlier, but by the end of the day is what we're saying, so that everybody's got all day Thursday to compile it and put it up.
when are we saying by? Sorry.
Wednesday, the 8th.
Yeah.
No?
I know Teresa put that in that email, but she needs to compile it the same way that she does with my evaluation, where your scores.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Right, so, and we're off on the 10th, so the 9th in the afternoon would be, it would be hard for us
It
to
would be
generate the agenda.
impossible.
Yes.
That's why I'm saying, can we make it the 8th?
And that also is a deadline, just remind everybody, you can actually get it done tomorrow if you want to.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah, right.
Just
I- yeah, I
saying.
agree with that.
Shoot.
Yeah, I mean, however, Commissioner, filling it out, meeting with the employee, being flexible to change something.
I get it, I just didn't want to make it sound like we're all
Yeah,
going to turn in on,
I get it too. I
But you're
totally
right.
get it. Rob is like totally standing on.
But thank you, Commissioner.
But it did,
Probably done, right?
so,
Can I just tell you, why don't we just move it to the following group of meetings? Because, I mean, I'm just looking at my time frame, and I mean, my own personal time frame.
Well, I mean, I can.
I
get
got
it done.
meeting
I hate
after
for her
meeting,
to
I
wait
got
to-
meeting after meeting after meeting next week.
it's up to the board what you would like to do.
Does everybody feel
You
like
you only
taking-
have
You're
one
good.
agenda item.
You're good, right?
Not that good, I'm having, so you'll have one agenda item that night then?
Oh, yeah, it's the 16th, never mind.
No,
Yeah,
I mean-
well, it just, I may not be able to get it in by the deadline. I'm just telling you that now. And it'll be one of those things that's
Well,
it's a, what do you call it?
a supplement. So if
Supplement.
that's the case, Mayor, I understand, then we will send out a supplement. If you need
I
that
think
weekend,
that's,
we can do we can
because
do
I
that.
just, I cannot get it done by then.
A thought would be, with it just being the one, if that's a resolution, 2306, the next night is the Christmas, the holiday party. Would we want to move that to the Tuesday meeting, that resolution 2306, and then move the clerks to like the December 7th meeting? Would that work better for?
The December 7th meeting, is that the really long one?
Is it already?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have it in front of me, so, okay.
Because we only have one set of meetings in December, and those meetings are both loaded up.
Okay, I didn't
Yeah.
look at it beforehand, not knowing. Thank you.
It just may be a supplement, that's the point.
I was trying to help.
No, I appreciate that, but I think it just may be a supplement.
And that's fine. A
We'd be happy
supplement's
to
fine.
do that.
That way, because I mean, I'm just looking at those first 3 days next week, and I am packed.
I have
No,
a,
I can't, maybe everybody else can, but I won't be able.
I have a resolution to this whole thing.
Huh?
Rebecca fills it out for you.
Would you do that for me?
I sent you a nice memo.
No, I know you did,
We'll be happy to send out a
but it would
supplement,
be
Mayor.
better for me to be able to work on it the following week. I'm just telling you, being honest about it.
We'll be happy to send out a
Resolutions,
supplement.
I mean, a
Next
supplement's
week's
fine.
crazy. And the following week's even crazier, so. Okay, so,
So I apologize, though, you know, Commissioner Franny brought up the email, that date was too late. I don't know why it's in there, so,
It's okay. Well, she probably forgot the fact that we were
It's a
off
holiday.
that Friday.
the 10th, yeah.
That's probably exactly what happened.
Probably.
Because the only reason I remembered it is because I have Veterans Day observed
Yeah.
on the 10th. So she
Yeah,
probably
she probably
didn't even,
did.
she probably just forgot.
Teresa can work on the 10th then.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
Good, there you go.
Okay, so can I have a motion to approve the November 16th agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Walker, Commissioner Franny, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Anybody have anything else for informational items?
Just a reminder, tomorrow is the San Jose Walk to School.
Yes, I will not be
Everybody's
there.
available.
Have a
Okay.
great time.
Thank you.
Tell them I said hi. I'll still be in my pajamas. No, I have a very important 10 o'clock meeting that I have to prep for.
Oh, I bet I know what that is. 7:30, right, Jeff?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. We'll do our
Okay,
best to be there.
anything else from anybody? We have our art harvest is this Saturday. Don't forget.
Yep.
And I did have, you probably noticed, I had Lindsay put Sammy's service in your calendars.
Yes.
That is the same day as the Celtic Fest, unfortunately. It is. So, you know, I kind of feel like if we can all go to the Celtic Festival early in the day, because it's not late at night anymore like it used to be.
Right.
So we'll all have to go a little bit earlier and then duck out. I don't think Sammy's family cares how we dress. I think we could go in our kilts and it would be just totally fine.
Right.
You know, or our Celtic garb. And Lindsay brought forward the fact that because the streets are closed for the art festival that day, it's at the Presbyterian church that you all go to. And that church is going to be packed full of cars.
Yes, it will.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to have a problem parking. She did say she could maybe arrange a car or two to be here that we could carpool in, but that's going to be difficult. We're all coming from different places, and I'm just letting you know.
It's actually walkable. I mean, it's a block and a half.
But then so the service is at the church, but then there's something at Sam and Marlene's house after.
2 houses away.
Which is,
It's right by the church.
yeah, it's right by the church, so,
Mhm.
I mean, we could park here, I guess.
We'll put our cones out, actually, because I think people would park there regardless.
Maybe that's the answer,
Yeah.
and we just walk over,
Mhm.
wear flat shoes and walk over.
Mhm.
Okay.
That's
That sound
complicated.
good to everybody?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to do my
Catch the
best.
loop.
I've got my brother here, and
Yeah.
his number one event is the Celtic Festival.
I getcha.
And we got VIP tickets, and so I'll do my best.
Okay.
Obviously, I want to be there.
Yeah, I'll get there, what does it start at noon or something? The
2.
Celtic Fest?
Oh, you mean?
The Celtic Fest. What time does it start?
10, isn't it?
10 o'clock?
10 o'clock, I think.
Is it that early?
Starts, opens, I think.
That's when the beer tap's open.
Wait a minute. Yeah, 10 a.m. Okay, yeah, so we can, okay, but then Sam's service is at 2, so, yeah. Okay. Jeff, would you let Eric know our situation?
Yes.
Because I don't want them all to be upset. Okay. All right, nothing else for the good of the order. We are adjourned.